Hello and greetings. I'm coming to you from the Sunshine Coast Airport. So we might get out of here faster than usual, and I might not be able to do the whole 1 hour recording. But while I've got you, I wanted to cover some really exciting things that are happening at the moment, especially around the three fields that we've touched upon before. But today I'm going to expand on some of them. One of them is Aussie Coast House Buyer, the Australian Coast House Buyer that I'm the expert in, that's my little niche nook of the world. The second one is the mindset magnifier. If you've heard me talk about that before, I'll expand a bit more on that. And the third one is the Bookkeep Hive that some of you people met last month at the Edwards Ear Live. So as usual, I'm going to make sure that I'm off the channel at 7:55 so that we've got time to jump onto the 8 p.m. Edwards Ear Live, at least on Zoom. So if my plane doesn't touch down by then, I might be 15 to 20 minutes late, but with any luck, I'll get there just before the 8 p.m. start Sydney time. So that's Monday night, Edwards Ear Live on Edwards' regular Zoom channel. Now, let's get to it. I'm really excited. So three things I'm going to cover. The first one is going to be Australian Coast House Buyer, the misconceptions and some of the things that people think about that potentially don't do. So give me 2 minutes and let me organize my screen so that I can see and talk at the same time. There you go. So what is Australian Coast House Buyer and how does that apply to you? So the most common misconceptions are that the three biggest misconceptions that people have about buying a house on the coast, especially when it comes to luxury real estate investing, is this. The first one is that luxury real estate investing is only for the ultra wealthy. So I guess many aspiring investors might believe that investing in luxury properties is exclusively for those with immense wealth. In reality, there are various strategies and financing options so that things are available to help investors with different financial backgrounds. Imagine entering the high-end market but building a diverse portfolio. This is definitely a possibility. Off-market listings are impossible to access without insider connections. This is another misconception. And you might think that it's funny me telling you that, but aspiring luxury property investors might assume that accessing off-market listings is an unattainable goal without already having strong connections in the industry. However, by leveraging expert guidance, building relationships, and learning the right strategies, it is possible to tap into off-market opportunities and secure exclusive deals. The luxury real estate investing is also too risky and complex. Again, that's the third misconception. Some investors may be hesitant to enter the high-end world of the market. I guess that's due to the perceived risks and the complexities. While the luxury real estate landscape can be intricate, with the right knowledge, the market insights, and practical guidance, investors can navigate through these challenges and mitigate risks and capitalize on the opportunities within the luxury property sector. Again, I'm coming to you from the airport, so there'll be a lot of people walking around. Three obvious ways to fail in luxury real estate investing. And I guess more importantly, how to succeed. Well, luxury real estate investing can be highly rewarding, but it also comes with its challenges. Avoiding common pitfalls is crucial to success in this competitive market. In this guide, we'll discuss the three most obvious ways to fail in luxury real estate and provide immediate action. so that you can take steps to help you overcome these challenges and achieve your investment goals. It is really blowing a hail out there. I'm glad you can't hear or see this. Failing to build a strong network, that's probably the number one thing. A common mistake that aspiring luxury real estate investors make is not prioritizing the development of a robust professional network, especially without the connections to industry insiders. It's difficult to access off-market listings and gain valuable insights and secure exclusive deals. So the immediate action step that you can take is start attending local networking events, other industry conferences, and joining online forums and social media. The group specifically dedicated to the luxury real estate market investing. Then make a conscious effort to connect with professionals who can help you gain access to off-market listings, such as luxury real estate agents, brokers, and other investors. Nurture these relationships by providing value to your new contacts and offering assistance when needed, and maintaining regular communication. So one of the common mistakes that we make is that we fail to build a strong network. And the common mistake that aspiring luxury real estate investors make is not prioritizing the development of a robust professional network. Without connections to industry insiders, it's difficult to access off-market listings, gain valuable insights, and secure exclusive deals. Obviously, this is going to be very important for you. The immediate action step that you can take is start attending local networking events, industry conferences, and even joining online forums and social media groups dedicated to luxury real estate investing. And make a conscious effort to connect with professionals who can help you gain access to off-market listings. A good example is luxury real estate agents, brokers, and other investors. Nurture these relationships by providing value to your new contacts and offering assistance when needed. And obviously maintaining regular communication. That's goes without saying. The other thing that might be an easy pitfall to fall into is lacking market knowledge. There's a very fine balance between spending all your time in research and not doing any implementation. But another one of the common pitfalls in especially luxury real estate investing is not fully understanding the intricacies of the high-end market. Without proper knowledge of market trends, pricing strategies, and the unique preferences of luxury buyers, investors are more likely to make costly mistakes and miss out on lucrative opportunities. The immediate action step you can take there is actually dedicate time to researching and analyzing the luxury real estate market in your target area. This includes understanding the demographics, buyer preferences, and trends that influence property values.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we are live. And we are live. Welcome to Monday night on the 10th of April, 2023. And we are live. Welcome to the live broadcast of the 10th of April 2023. Welcome for those people who have joined in live, and of course to the people watching the replay. I wanted to do something a little bit different this time, a little bit special. And this is a story that I came up with because a lot of times the business lessons that we learn in life are predicated on things that we uncover as analogies, maybe in the animal kingdom, maybe through stories that we've come across outside of our norm. So let me start this live by telling you a little story, and I hope that it'll both entertain and educate, but most of all, it's just a little fun. Once upon a time, in a bustling city filled with entrepreneurs, a young and ambitious individual named Alex was embarking on a journey to find the secrets to success in the business world. Little did Alex know, the animal kingdom would offer powerful lessons that would transform their life and business. As Alex wandered through a beautiful park, they came across a small, thriving beehive. Obviously, the colors. I had to go with the bumblebee theme, right? Fascinated by the bees' relentless work ethic, Alex decided to take a closer look. They noticed that the honeybees were working together in perfect harmony, each one contributing to the well-being of the hive. They were surprised to learn that the male bees, called drones, played a vital role in temperature regulation. These drones would shiver to raise the temperature or flap their wings to cool it down, ensuring that the hive maintained a constant 36 degrees Celsius. Any deviation from this temperature would result in disaster for the entire colony. Inspired by the bees, Alex realized that collaboration and teamwork were crucial for success. They understood that each individual in a team must contribute to the collective well-being, even if it meant doing something that seemed small or insignificant. This lesson resonated with Alex, who vowed to always value their team members. In achieving their goals, as Alex continued their walk, they spotted a graceful deer feeding on leaves nearby. Intrigued, Alex moved closer and observed the deer's remarkable bifocal vision. The deer was able to focus on the leaf it was eating while maintaining a clear view of the surrounding forest. This ability to see both short and long distances simultaneously allowed the deer to stay vigilant, protecting itself from potential threats while also enjoying its meal. This observation sparked a revelation for Alex. In the world of business, it was essential to maintain a similar level of focus. They needed to pay attention to the day-to-day tasks that kept their business running while also keeping an eye on the long-term goals and the bigger picture. This delicate balance would ensure the growth and success of their endeavors. As the sun began to set, Alex stumbled upon a magnificent rhinoceros. They marveled at the animal's thick skin and powerful horn, which offered protection and gave it the confidence to charge ahead without fear. Once the rhino decided on a direction, it was almost impossible to stop it from pursuing its goal. This unstoppable force inspired Alex to cultivate a similar mindset, one that would withstand the challenges and criticisms that were bound to come their way. With newfound determination, Alex decided to emulate the rhino's resistance. They would charge ahead towards their dreams and goals, brushing aside any distractions or naysayers that threatened to slow them down. This unwavering determination would become the foundation for Alex's success in the business world. With the powerful lessons of the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino in mind, Alex embarked on their entrepreneurial journey with confidence. They built a team that worked together like the bees in a hive, each member contributing to the collective success. Alex made sure to maintain a clear focus on both short-term tasks and long-term goals, much like the deer's bifocal vision. And with the resilience and determination of a rhino, Alex pushed through any obstacles or critics that came their way. Years later, Alex stood in their luxurious office, reflecting on the incredible journey they had taken. Their business had flourished, becoming a shining example of success in their industry. They felt grateful for the wisdom they had gleaned from the animal world, which had been instrumental in their achievements. As they gazed out the window, they couldn't help but feel a deep connection to nature and the lessons it had taught them. Alex knew that their accomplishments were not just the result of their hard work, but also the application of the invaluable insights they had gained from the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino. In an effort to give back and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs, Alex decided to write a book with the lessons they had learnt from the animal kingdom. The book, aptly titled, soon became a bestseller, and its influence spread far and wide. Thousands of aspiring business owners found inspiration and guidance in the stories of the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino, leading to a new wave of successful ventures. Through speaking engagements and mentorship programs, Alex continued to share their knowledge and experiences with others. They made it their mission to help people realize that the secrets to success could be found from all around them, even in the most unexpected places. As Alex's influence grew, so did their commitment to the environment and the creatures that had played such a pivotal role in their journey. They established a charitable foundation dedicated to the conservation and protection of bees, deer, and rhinoceroses, ensuring that future generations would have the opportunity to learn from these remarkable animals. And so, through the extraordinary lessons from nature, Alex's life became a testament to the power of observation, collaboration, focus, and resilience. Their story inspired countless others to embrace the wisdom of the animal world, creating a legacy of success that would be remembered for generations to come. And as each new entrepreneur embarked on their own journey, the spirit of the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino lived on, guiding them towards their dreams and the fulfillment of their true potential. Over time, Alex's story became a shining example of the power of the natural world and its influence on human endeavors. As their teachings spread, a global movement began to emerge, with entrepreneurs and businesses around the world adopting the principles of collaboration, focus, and resilience as their guiding values. It seemed that the wisdom of the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino transcended borders and cultures, resonating with people from all walks of life. This new wave of business leaders not only achieved remarkable success, but also began to reshape the way companies approached their work. They placed greater emphasis on teamwork, long-term planning, and adaptability in the face of challenges. As a result, a more sustainable and conscientious approach to business started to take hold, with companies recognizing the importance of their impact on the environment and society. The legacy of Alex's teachings and the inspiration drawn from the animal world soon made their way into mainstream culture, influencing not only the realm of business, but also education, art, and even politics. The principles of the honeybee, the deer, the principles of the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino began to appear in classrooms where students were taught the value of cooperation, clear vision, and determination from a young age. Artists and creators found inspiration in these remarkable creatures, weaving their lessons into their works, whether through paintings, sculptures, literature, or music. Their stories became a symbol of hope and possibility, reminding people that the path to success and happiness could be found through the wisdom of nature. Even political leaders took note of the transformative power of these teachings, and some began to incorporate them into their policies and decision making. They recognized the potential for positive change that could be achieved by embracing the principles of collaboration, focus, and resilience. As the years went by, Alex's teachings, inspired by the honeybee, the deer, and the rhino, continued to touch the lives of millions around the world. The movement they had sparked continued to grow, leaving an indelible mark on the course of human history. In the end, Alex's story became more than just a tale of personal triumph. It evolved into a powerful reminder of the profound connection between the natural world and the human spirit. It was a testament to the idea that even the smallest creatures could offer valuable lessons, and that success, both in business and in life, could be achieved by observing, learning from, and emulating the incredible wisdom of the world around us. Well, I wanted to run that by you. I wanted to share that with you. Mostly because there's so many great stories out there, but there's always a different point of view, a different way of looking at things. This is a little something that I put together as part of my walk this morning. And for those of you that have known me for a while, I do a lot of my connecting, my chatting, that kind of free space when I'm walking on the beach in the morning. Sometimes, especially during summer, I'd get up at 5 a.m. and go for a very long walk. Other times, now that it's winter, it's more like 6 or 6:30. Mostly because I love the sun and I'm not much of a fan of the cold winds that the sea breeze can sometimes inflict upon you first thing in the morning. I've been walking a lot on Coogee Beach. One of the most beautiful areas of Sydney is the East Coast. And when you're going from Sydney City to the east, the coastline is superb. But heading from Palm Beach or the northern beaches down towards the Cronulla area, Bondi Beach, which is a famous one around the world, you get some gorgeous beaches that aren't overexposed, they're not too commercialized. And I tend to find that some of the most beautiful houses are in that area. Tamarama Beach, Bronte Beach, even the big ones like Coogee and Bondi, they have different times of day where you can find parking, where you can sit in a little area just by yourself and really enjoy your coffee. Just sit there and relax and think about nothing but what you want out of life, or what the business day has planned for you, or count the 10,000 waves one after the other. It's, the hardest thing sometimes is to switch off your mind, but you don't need to switch off your mind. You can just change what you're thinking about. And for me, at least, I feel that little change where I'm not just doing the one after one after one, not following the step by step, but changing the way I think about things. Sometimes that's enough. It's not, they say a change is as good as a holiday. I don't know if I'd go that far. I definitely prefer a holiday. But it is sometimes worthwhile just to change the way you're thinking, change your physiology, change your location. One of the things that I've been focusing on, probably the biggest focus that has been the last 12 months, maybe from the beginning around April 2022 to April 2023, that's probably been the mix between the three parts that I was talking about last week. So if you watch the replay, or if you're tuned in regularly and you see my lives, there were three shapes we were talking about. We're talking about the straight line. And for that, I was inspired by the book called The Slight Edge. And the slight edge principle says that you can either increase slightly or decrease slightly every day. But even when you're standing still, you're either decreasing or increasing. It's not something where you can just freeze time and preserve where you are in life. I think that's very relevant in business, but in every type of venture you think about. So think about the straight line of either having a straight trajectory or an angled trajectory, or a straight line with a downward straight line or downward curved line trajectory. It doesn't matter how steep the curve is. It's more the direction that matters than the speed of change. Sometimes the speed of change is so phenomenal that you can feel like it's overwhelming, like it's too much. The best I've found is to write down where you're at, what you're expecting, and what's bothering you. And depending on whether you're a visual learner, an audio learner, or a kinesthetic learner, you might want to tape, as in on your mobile phone, just hit the voice record button and listen to your own statements about how things are going, what the challenges are, what your fears are, what your expectations are, and what you're hopeful for. Other people might write it down, and you might get something out of the written cues, because you might be a visual learner. You might want to see a photo, or see a video, or download a video. A lot of people get inspired by Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Those social media channels are great, especially when you're targeting down to a hashtag that you want to follow, or to a group that you want to be part of, or to a lesson that you want to learn. I don't think you can be black and white and just say this is good and this is bad. But there is so much that we have access to today. You can either make it overwhelming, or you can feel that this is actually teaching me what I want to be taught in the method that I want to be taught in. So we spoke about the straight line first, the line, the one-dimensional shape. Moving on to a two-dimensional shape, like a triangle. Last week and the week before, we were talking about the triangle being, instead of time and money, I suggested the 3 points of time, energy, and money. And looking at that from a holistic point of view, and again thinking about the increasing angle or the straight line, if your trajectory is to increase time, increase money, increase energy, then work on those three things in one part of your life, or two parts of your life. That brings us through to the third shape. And the third shape we're talking about is the octagon, octagonal balance. So I think of it like the circle of life, where you have the spiritual, you have the health, you have the wealth, family, education. And if you want to Google that, or if you want to search it on the internet, you'll find different versions that one or two of them might resonate with you. But there's different sections in life that can really be so differently balanced. For example, there was a long time where my health was great. I was exercising a lot and I was working a lot. So I squeezed in the exercise before work and after work, but because of that, I saw my family but didn't see friends. So the balance between spirituality and friends and family and health and wealth and business can sometimes be out of whack. I was taught a very long time ago that if you want to be in balance, if you want to design your life the way that you want to have things done. It is okay to be out of balance for a short period of time, because you can be out of balance so that you can get in balance. And that can seem like a completely foreign concept, but think of it this way. The athlete that wants to compete on a world scale, on the Olympic scale, they know they're going to have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of continuous improvement and effort to get just to qualify to be on the team. They set aside the 3 a.m. mornings until sometimes 9 a.m. where you're completely focused on the one goal. And that goal brings you forward to where you want to achieve, what you want to get out of life. If you choose to always be in balance in all the different areas in your life, maybe that won't quite be enough for you to hit the highest high of fitness or the highest level of social, fun, family. Because if you are balancing everything, great. But everybody has 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. So if you're going to do that forever, does that mean that when you were a 2-year-old child, you spent the same amount of time working as you were on your spiritual development? No, and that's not realistic. So just give yourself the grace to be human, to realize that everybody goes through a learning curve, and there's different parts of your life where it's appropriate to be more focused on your work. It's appropriate to be more focused on your family. Give yourself grace and acceptance to allow yourself to be okay doing what you choose to do at that time. One of the most amazing facts that I came across last year, and I really appreciate learning from experts in specific fields that have the professional knowledge, the tertiary education, the specialized knowledge that really digs deep. So one of the people that I was listening to last year was a statistician that combs through on a full-time basis all the data that comes out from the census, that comes out from the government, that comes out from Australian Bureau of Statistics, and international numbers as well. Now, whether you believe all the sources or some of the sources, eventually you're going to say, well, okay, I might take it with a grain of salt, but they're not completely wrong. Or you might believe the statistics completely. Whichever field you're in, the biggest lesson that I learned there was that if we are in a stage of human development where people have a choice to pivot, where people have a choice to work from home or work from the office, where there is a lot more choice to create your own company in your own direction, then you also have the choice to spend more time with your family or spend more time at the office. That is so much more true when you control your own focus and your own business and your own development, your own app. There are historical, and I'm thinking back 6,000 years, but there are accounts of the greatest minds in the world, both male and female, that lock themselves in a room or set themselves aside from society for a year, 5 years, sometimes decades, or even the majority of their life. And during that time, they developed a massive breakthrough that was independent of anybody else at that time, but even now, that completely moved human evolution onto the next level. I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to sit here and Google it because I think that's cheating. When you think about artificial sweetness, who was the botanist that moved the needle to having an artificial sweetener? Who was it that created the cinema, the iPhone, the camera? Who was it that created Wi-Fi? How did we get to where we are now? Quite often it's not somebody that put in the 35 hours a week. It's somebody that really dedicated the majority of their mental focus and quite often their financial focus towards bridging a gap from where we are now to where we want to be and finding a method of bringing that together. If you've got something that you feel really educated you, that really drew you, that inspired you, that is that aspirational goal that you're aiming towards, write that down in the chat. I'd love to hear what it was that either was created by focus or somebody out there dedicated a large part of their family time, their personal time, their TV time to doing, to learning, to creating, to inventing, that for you changed the way that you run your life, that you get enjoyment and fulfillment out of life. I'd love to hear some of your comments about that. For me, the mixture of Tesla, Thomas Edison, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who had very big public fights, and I know Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, the AC and DC debate, and I don't know if you've read about the elephant being electrocuted as a demonstration of why one electricity is better than the other electricity. If you have, great, put it in the chat. There's so many things that can only be achieved when you have a singular focus. Which brings me to the next point. If you're brave enough to run your own company, if you're brave enough to set aside the time and the money, and when you think about investing money in your own company, by not working for a corporation, by not signing the contract of saying 40 hours of my time are dedicated to this corporation and taking a casual or contractor role instead, maybe even working 10 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week, you are sacrificing, yes, you're sacrificing your 30 hours, and that might have a specific dollar value for you this year. But if you're sacrificing that contract, then 3 years within the company, you potentially could have moved up the ladder. And so you might be sacrificing more money than you even thought was on the table because you saw today's job offer with today's contract, but you didn't look at how great you are as a person and how you stepped up into the next level. So think of it this way. If you're deciding to focus on your passion project, if you're building the greatest mousetrap, if you're creating the next app, if you're creating something that is going to move the world forward, then you're sacrificing your career progression by not sitting down in an office and signing a contract to work under somebody else and move up the ranks. And you're sacrificing that money not upfront, but long term. You might work in that company for 20 or 30 years had you gone down the sliding door of path A or path B. That sacrifice, though, might be a large sacrifice now, but the impact you could have is gargantuan. It's completely out of line with the impact of one person making an extra zero during their life. And when I mean zero, I mean instead of earning $100,000, earning $1 million. Instead of earning $1 million, earning $10 million. That extra zero, that multiple of 10, that 10x, that can happen for you when you're in a career and you're good at what you do and you continuously put focused effort into your main role, into your main goal. Yes, that can happen. So what are you sacrificing by doing that instead of creating a better mousetrap? Instead of creating something that moves the world forward? Interesting question. If you had the choice of working for yourself or working for somebody else, what would you pick? Please put it down in the chat. Write down what it is that you've done before, what it is you like, and whether you prefer to work in a group or work on your own. One very interesting thing comes to mind, and now I'm mindful of the time, because remember, at 8 p.m. is Edward Zia's Zoom. So the webinar is at 8 p.m., which is in 20 minutes time. So remember I'm going to stop at 7:55 so that the 8 p.m. Zoom is up and running and I'm ready to join it. So I will give you time at the end so that you can rush off, make a cup of tea before sitting down for Edward Zia's Zoom. So the question is this: if you are going to do something on your own volition, something of your own, under your own steam, and that's going to be the next greatest thing, what are you sacrificing for it? And do you prefer to work on your own as a solopreneur or on a team? Are you hiring the team and you're the big boss? Or do you prefer to do a collaborative where it's 50-50? Do you prefer to be the best in one small component of a large team? Or do you prefer to be the head honcho and find the people who are the best team members? So one thing that we came across was DISC analysis. And Edward Zia spoke about this last week at the webinar. The webinar covered DISC analysis and advanced DISC analysis, and also some of the other options like the Myers-Briggs, Personality Plus, and other modules that test out what type of personality works best together in a collaborative way, and what type of personality type works on their own the best. I think one of the examples that I love is the Apple computer, the Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak example. There was 3 of them to start off with. One was the financial investor, the silent partner. Then they went away and left the two Steves working together. What you may not realize, and obviously if you've read the biographies and the books, you do realize, the money that came to Steve Jobs later on from Pixar was a lot more than the Apple money. So when you think of what Disney Pictures did when they purchased Pixar and the animations that came from that, there was Toy Story, and that had a whole bunch of other movies that were associated with Toy Story. But that was only the beginning of the whole Pixar story. Steve Jobs joined a team where that team just moved up the scale in storytelling, producing, directing, and I don't know if it's a game of threes again, where it's that time, money, and energy. But some teams tend to perform really well as a 3 or a 2 rather than a single. I honestly think that I thought about this a few years ago with the Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak idea. Let me know in the chat if you believe that as well. When there was 3 members of the team, before Apple moved into the 2-person company and actually had 3 members, every few years somebody talks about share trading and the value that the early investor would have had that early investor held onto their shares for 30 years. But here's the thing. Something inside me is telling me that if that investor hadn't left and kept butting in, kept their money in it, kept trying to control the conversation, I feel maybe Steve Jobs or Steve Wozniak would have resigned. Maybe they would have stayed the course, but they wouldn't have given it 100%, knowing that there's a third wheel involved. What do you think about that? Do you feel that that's true, that if Apple had 3 people instead of 2, it'll still reach the same level? Or do you feel that if that early investor hadn't agreed to a payout and left early on, it could have gone better or worse? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think of that. But that kind of crossed my mind, and I thought, well, when you're creating a company, do you want somebody that's got an identical personality style to you, or one that has the exact opposite style? So if you think of the Paula Abdul song of Opposites Attract, there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. But I think of it deeper. Think of it as a disc analysis point of view. Do you feel that from a disc analysis point of view, if one person is, well, okay, think about a band, a musical band, they're on stage. You've got the drummer who's keeping the beat, keeping the timing. You've got the lead singer who's up front on vocals, usually with a lead guitar as well. They're on the guitar, they're on the lead vocals. But you always need the two of them, because the single person on stage, they can copy other people's songs. They can do a cover of somebody else's song. And quite often they have the backing vocals or the backing music from somebody else's original work. But is it as good? Do you feel that the industry benefits from cover bands that choose an artist that they love and then they emulate it? Or do you feel that if those people spent more time on creating originals, we'd have a wider choice of the top of the top? I think that there's a place for both. And this is my own opinion, but I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think that cover bands are worthwhile, or do you feel that they're missing out on letting the real talent within them come out because they're copying somebody else? So getting back to the business analogy, if you have different personality types, one person is the drummer that keeps the beat. In a business sense, they might be the person who's making sure the taxes are done, the bookkeeping's up to date, the compliance certificates are displayed, the owner of the company is doing what they need to do, and the people working for the company are doing what they need to do. And the larger direction, so we spoke about the three animals, where one of them was the deer that had bifocal vision, both the near and the far. If that's something that they keep an eye on, excuse the pun, if that is something that is under control, both the short-term and the long-term vision, is that something that you do need multiple people with different personality types to control? Let me know in the chat what you think. Also, the funniest thing here is they say hindsight is 20/20. There is a great book, and if you can download it on Audible or buy the book, get the paper version or download the digital version, whatever suits you. 7 Powers. 7 Powers talks about how companies like Netflix and Blockbuster went head to head, where the expansion came from Disney to Pixar, and Apple, Steve Jobs' use and growth in Apple compared to Steve Jobs' use and growth in Pixar. Great book, 7 Powers. Going deeper into that field, if you have 4 different personality types, or perhaps 8 archetypes or 12 archetypes, depending on if you're a Jungian or if you're looking at Myers-Briggs, whichever method you're using for it, work out what you think would be a great balance. So from a disc analysis, is somebody who's a D for direct, are they going to work well with an I influencer? Or does a direct person need a compliance person? So if you think that a company should have 2 people that are complete opposites, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that you need 2 people but they should have the same skills because it strengthens the company, so you might have 2 direct people, 2 Ds, let me know, put the number 2 in the chat. Love to hear from you. Okay, let's read some of these. Oh, wonderful. Greetings from Brazil. Thank you. Hello to you. Edward Zia, love your work. David Berger, great stuff. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Well, I'm going to start packing up for the day. Number 1. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to start packing up for the day. If you've loved what you've seen, let me know. I love hearing from you. Send me through a DM. Send me through any questions. But also, if there's anything that you'd love me to go into depth about, and I hope that little story about the bee, the deer, and the rhino hit home. If not, watch the replay and feel free to run it at double speed. I spoke slowly so that it's something that we can break down, slow, speed up, as you wish. But I tried to be as clear with my pronunciation as possible. Hello from SA, hello Anthea, great to see you. So thank you very much for today, thank you for tuning in. I hope that we got something out of it, and I mean I got something out of it as well, because bouncing these ideas off you really helps me clear my thoughts. But I would love to hear what you think about running a company with two directors that are complete opposites, or running a company with two directors that are the same. So until next Monday at 7 p.m. Sydney time, checking out, and tune in at 8 o'clock for Edward Zia's webinar. Speak to you soon. Ciao now.